Hey guys, we're back from Evo Enduro 2024 and my Porsche Boxer Spider is filthy. 3 weeks of not washing, 5,900 plus kilometers. It's all full of bug spatter, road grime. It went through dirt road, unfinished roads. It was just an amazing journey, right? So typically I like to keep my car clean, but this time I'm keeping all my dirt on as every time I do Enduro to allow myself once in a year sort of a deep clean. I do this because I want to showcase also how the PPF hold up, how the coating held up. Does it still do its work? Okay, so we're going to wash all of that and see in the end. But at the same time, we are also going to share with you my favorite memories in Evo Enduro 2024. Right? My last few videos is always ASMR, like wash the car and everything. But I thought we'd try something a little bit different, you know, sort of like a wash and talk kind of experience, right? So with that, let's start cleaning the car. Alright, so we always start with the tires. Make sure we wear some protection. You don't want to inhale all those chemicals. Alright, super dirty, super nice to clean. Alright, so I like to. There are many ways of doing this. Some people they say rinse down, hose it down before you go with your chemicals. But because it's so dirty, I like the chemical to work directly with the surface. Right, then I'll rinse down and use the chemical again. Right, so typically I like to go with the rubbers first with some of my favorite multi-purpose cleaner. Sometimes it's more than just dirt on the rubber, it's the UV protection that you get from your rubber is all coming out, so forming those really brown color. Yeah, talking about tires, so my first time actually having a tire issue, or rather having an issue with my tires in Evo Enduro. I've always been lucky. This time around, yeah, the sidewall crack was the worst thing that can happen because if it's a puncture, you can still fix it. But if it's like what we experienced, the sidewall cracked, which you can't really save the tire, right? So that's the worst case scenario which happened to my car. Thank God the tire shop in Langsun managed to help me find the tow truck, help me source the tires, and just something about Thailand that people just really try to take care of you, right? I felt like they went out of their way to help me and I feel very grateful. So the front is running N-spec tires, the rear is running non-N-spec tires. As a result, the front is grippier than the rear, right? So I find myself oversteering most of the corners. But it actually did very well with the Gymkhana because my tail is more playful. The front's managed to grip a little bit more, so it's more dirty during the Gymkhana. So maybe it helped me got second place. So yeah, we're going to let it sit for a couple of minutes, then we're going to hose it off before we go to do contact wash. So, still quite dirty. Right, the right thing to do is actually to remove the rims and sort of do the whole thing, but just don't have the time. But we'll do that another time. So for now, this will do. And the reason why we did our first rinse is to sort of loosen up the brake dust and stuff. You want to remove some of it so that when we contact wash later, we don't scratch the rims too much, right? So loosen some of it, but still got a lot of work to do. So I like to typically go back again with some of the iron remover. This is from XPEL. And then get some shampoo going on. You can use a normal shampoo, but you can also get those shampoos that are made for tires. You can use multi-purpose cleaner if it's super dirty, but you just want some lubrication, some of the soap to help loosen up all the dirt. Look at that, that's so clean. Compared to this one over here, you almost could not see the Porsche logo. That's how dirty it is, right? Look at that, can't even see the Porsche logo under all the dirt. Alright, so now we're going to work on the body. That itself took like an hour for 45 minutes, right? It's quite normal. So what you want to do is you want to get yourself some of this chemical here. It's going to be really generous considering how dirty my car is, right? So XPEL came out with their car after, we call it like car care stuff, which is super cool because up until then, we didn't really have all these shampoos. But we have a couple of those things like iron remover and stuff like that, but I always wanted an XPEL shampoo, right? So it's kind of nice to have now their foam soap, have their wash solution and stuff like that, right? So this one you spray onto the car, let it sit for a while, and because it's so dirty, I'm going to use this whole bottle and let it dwell for 5 minutes or so, let it loosen up all the dirt before we go in and contact wash. Okay, before we foam off the car, maybe you can take a moment to sort of appreciate some of the stickers. Of course, the livery from XPEL is amazing. Thank you so much, Dee and the XPEL team, Dilip, for designing this livery. I think it really stood out with all the pictures And in dust roughened, it really popped the whole yellow and silver theme. So Michelin sticker here, number 12, because I participated in a gymkhana. At first I didn't want to do it because there's a lot of people watching and people will see you messing up, but I thought to myself, hey, when's the last time I really get to just go all out with my car, right? At least at low speed. So yeah, I enrolled myself in Michelin's Gymkhana. I saw Julian having so much fun. I saw Jet having so much fun with his Cayman and the GT3 RS. And I went in. And surprisingly, without any expectation, I was just there to have fun. No braking, late trail braking and everything. I came out number 2. I didn't expect to be number 2. And I won a little voucher with 10% off for any tyre replacement and stuff like that. So thank you so much, Michelin. Great tyres, great fun. And the funny thing was the top 3 winners were Malaysians. And the other 2 winners, they were GT3 RSs with Cup 2 tyres. So I like to think that the little Spider held up its own against the 2 big brothers. Amazing Thailand. Every year, Evo Enduro gets sponsored by the Thai tourism, and they hosted us this beautiful dinner at Tulo restaurant in Chiang Mai. Thailand's amazing. Driving is great there, food is great, hospitality is amazing. How can you not return to Thailand with such experience? This one was, I think, sneakily stuck on by who's that? Alex. Okay, that's my guess. Evo Club also extends all the way to Borneo, which is Sarawak, Miri, all the, Sabah, the whole eastern Malaysia. I bumped into them a couple of times. It was crazy because they shipped their car over to Peninsular Malaysia. They drove it up, they trailered their car up all the way there, and they just had a great time. So I'm so happy that the Borneo people, the Borneo guys, came and enjoy Thailand as well. Right, good memories. Right, let's get the car foamed up. So I need my multi-purpose cleaner just to help with some of the tight spots. By the way, this is XPEL Glenmarie. It's actually sharing its space with Indizo Lab, which is Zenau's office or playground. Right? You can say either one. There's a drift track behind, the go-kart track is over there. He stores all his cars and all his garage and his crew, they're all here. It's also a little workshop down there called Superbug. Yeah, so this is a place where Lau, one of the very experienced, works here. He's doing hand wrap from my Mini Classic, which looks amazing in there, by the way. Should be done pretty shortly, and then it'll be out on the road. So here you go, guys. This is my Mini Classic, fully restored, and Lau did a hand wrap, hand PPF. So normally we use pre-cut, and to do hand installation and cut is really complex, right? Because you don't have, the pattern for this car. So Lau runs XPEL Glenmarie, and Lau, his skill level is, we're calling the seafood, because his, of course, hand cut is really challenging. He's able to do it. In fact, he was once flown to Taiwan just to wrap an 812 Competizione, right? So how many people get to touch a Competizione? Well, Lau gets to do it. So he's the guy that works on such caliber of cars. He's working on my Mini Classic as well, right? So super, super cool, right? Let's see if Lau is really running away. All right. So yeah, just picture. This is Lau, right? I did one video with Lau before talking about PPF. 当时我们讲华语啊，有 subtitle， right？ 是啊。简单吗？这个车？
有一点复杂
，complicated。哪里复杂？
因为它很 curve 这个 fender， 然后它又这个车又没有 pre-cut， 所以有一点挑战性啊。
这个你是拉吗？还是怎样？
拉咯 ，stretch。
没有办法，一定要拉。
一定要拉。
这个 Q 嘛，
然后它很圆，
很圆啊，因为扁的话容易一点的嘛，要圆的话就这个要
对，要 straight 这种太圆了。
这你怎么做这边？这边又有这个，要凹凸出来这样，所以粘过来又要这样，
要有一定的 skill
哦。Okay, so we hope that this car will be ready soon. Thank you, Lau. Right, and Lau's a really good car guy as well. He has a sweet spot. Right, so we'll come back and do another video with this guy over here. Right, I have this Spider now for 3 years plus, and it's one of those cars that I thought I'll just own for a while and maybe move on to another experience. But it's a car that the more I drive, I sort of fall in love with it. Can't see myself driving another car. And even though the 718 is way better, way more dynamic, there's something about the 981 for me with the 3.8 that comes from the Carrera S. It sounds a bit different. It's a bit more raw and bassy and grunty, and I just sort of like that. And the fact that it's quite light, it's 1300 kilograms plus minus. You can really feel the car gain weight with the 718 Spider. Although the suspension is better, but you can feel the weight. And there's something about light cars. You know, it feels really great around the corners. During Mei Hon Son, Nan Pua, between street number 3 and Torturous Viewpoint Road, those were the best roads throughout the whole journey. This car was amazing. Like, you don't have to push the car to the absolute limit, but just feeling the lightness flowing in and out of the corners was just pure driving ecstasy with this car. And every time I think about maybe I should try something different, I don't want to let go of this car. And the fact there's only 2 of them in Malaysia, 981 Spider, the other one's red color, I don't think I can ever get it back. Actually, I didn't intend to ever own a Spider. It was never on my dream car list, you know. I actually wanted a Boxster GTS. 3.4 manual, but the color scheme I wanted was GT Silver, red calipers, red interior, manual, you know, and I set a budget for it. But then, one of the dealers over here actually had a Spider in this very color that I wanted. The only problem was it's 50% more expensive than my budget. But after getting in the car for just, I think 3 minutes or 2, the guy who was selling the car knew that I was going to buy it. So I sort of dilly-dally here and there. No, I didn't expect, I thought it was just, okay, it's just another Boxster with more power, bigger engine, but nope, when you drive it, it feels absolutely different than a GTS. Yeah, there's the sound, the torque, everything is so different. And yeah, and I spoke to Bobby, who encouraged me, and he inspired me a lot because during MCO, before MCO, he bought his RS6, his Repeat, which are 2 of his dream cars, especially the Repeat. I said, oh, you know what? Why not? Why not I just pull the trigger? It almost, I mean, it emptied all my bank accounts. Not responsible financial decision, but you know what? This is the best car I ever owned in my life. And I personally think this is Porsche's best sports car. I know it's very biased, I own one of it. But for me, a sports car has to be engaging, you have to work with the car. Think of like playing sports, right? You have to sweat, you have to get involved. It doesn't have, it has to perform, but you have to work with the car to get some performance out of it. And this is what the car is. NA, which means you have to make sure you're in the right gear all the time, right RPM, and you shift your own gears. No passive, no active suspension or any funny things that adjust the geometry or adjust the dampers as you go. It's all like really pure driving dynamics, you know. So this car has it. So convertible, check. Mid-engine, check. Lightweight, light enough, check. NA, check. Manual, check. Manual, check. Right? 2 times. So I think it really has a recipe for engagement. Sure, it will lose out to some of the GT cars. Doesn't go up to 9,000 RPM, but I don't think there's any other better sports car, right? Because for me, the GT cars are more like a race car into the sports car. You know, that I don't think there's any better sports car that Porsche makes. And don't get me wrong, 911s are great, but you know, just for me, this just does it. You know, yeah, it really just does it. Okay, so we're gonna do some contact wash right now. One of the tricks I sort of adopted from Ammo NYC Larry Cosilla is that I started to use only 1 bucket with fresh microfiber towels, means they're clean. So I don't have like a wash and rinse bucket. And the reason is because I find that microfiber towels do catch up more dirt than just a normal mitt by itself. And the other thing is that every time I'm done with 1 towel, I don't reuse it. So I don't have to sort of clean this towel. Or once this is dirty, I remove it and then I take a fresh towel out. Okay, so we've got XPEL's wash solution. This is great for hand wash, contact wash. Let's put a little bit more. Yeah, and we're gonna get the foam out. Start working on the car. Okay. Okay, the front here is a bit more dirty. I've got further diluted multi-purpose cleaner. It's all bug spatter, road grime, which is a little bit more stubborn. So I need a little bit more cleaning power. I'm not going to use this for all my car. So it's going to put a small layer on it over this dirty area before I start foaming and doing contact wash. Before we hand contact, we just want to put one more layer of foam. By the way, if you're looking for a foam cannon, I'm not sure if you can get this in Malaysia, but this big boy stuff is really good. Like you can, look at this, I can get it to shoot further without me walking over there. Pretty cool, huh? Anyways, let me see if I can do the long range stuff. I run out of soap. No! No! Oh well. Let's go. Since we're here in front of the windscreen, I gotta say, I'm super impressed by XPEL's windscreen protector. Last time I had another brand, it's also an international renowned brand. It did the job to protect my windscreen, but it just started to collect these little dots. Like they are like, you know, like when it gets damaged, it leaves those little imprints. What happens is that from a driver point of view, it kind of refracts all the light. So driving at night with the old windscreen protector was really, really horrible. The new one self-heals. So after 8,000 plus kilometers, and you know, especially in Enduro, like, you know, I don't know if you can hear it, I know it's a soap on it, but there's no imprints on it. I got a lot of sand chips, stone chips. I even accidentally wiped my windscreen while it's dry and scratched it. And then within just minutes, it started to heal. It keeps the nice, shiny, translucent nature of the PPF windscreen protector. So it's really, really cool. Shout out to XPEL, because they could have just come up with something that is similar as, you know, the competitor. They wanted to push a bit more, and they created a great product. More importantly, it doesn't affect your ADAS system, you know, your ADS system, etc., etc. So it does the protection, and it also keeps your safety systems working. Right. Very, very cool. Do check out your nearest XPEL dealer if you want to get yourself a windscreen protector installed. Yes, one more point, it's hydrophobic, which is super, super important. And if you ever use windscreen protector without hydrophobic properties, it's horrible. Right? It's really bad. You can't see through the rain, especially in Malaysia, we've got torrential rain and stuff like that. But when you keep wiping like that on the torrential rain, it further scratches it. Then it becomes more and more blur. With XPEL's windscreen protector, I didn't use my wiper most of the time. I mean, it's not as good as a glass coating per se, but still, it can wick off water without you using your wiper too much. Yeah, so thank you XPEL for creating such a great product. Right, super impressed. Okay. The other thing is you gotta make sure that you do PPF. I know there's a lot of places you can do PPF, but you gotta do this. You know, if it cracks, it's gonna cost you a lot of money, right? And sometimes they go up to 5,000–6,000 per headlamps. I'm not even talking about Porsche or anything. Like even a Honda, I heard PPF, a headlamp itself can cost, yeah, close to 5K if you want to replace it. So you make sure if you don't even get the body PPF, get the headlamps protected. Yep. The guys at XPEL are experts in installing this. So talking about my favorite roads in Thailand, Mae Hong Son is nice actually, but it's getting really crowded. There's a lot of people there now. It seems super touristy. Ban Rat Thai is a super small town and there's only one way up, one way down. It's starting to get really congested. So this is probably the last time I'll visit Ban Rat Thai. There are a lot of other places I want to visit. Maybe we'll take a look at the map. But my favorite route this year was between route number 3 and Torturous Viewpoint Road. And we went at 6:30 in the morning. It was clear and empty. And the roads, they're like a racetrack, like Laguna Seca, right? You go up, and then you go down, then you turn right, and crazy. Then when you get up to the top of the mountain, you see like you're driving on top of the clouds. That's freaking amazing. If you're a car lover, you got to bring your car there. It is probably the best driving road you'll ever experience. It's ridiculous And I have a discussion with Bobby and he said it is probably because the Thai road system doesn't have too many rules in how it should be, you know? So it can be quite challenging for some people. So, you know, but they left it like that. So I'm appreciative that they let the roads be slightly more challenging. So it's fun for B-roads. Nothing like the B-roads you have in Malaysia. They're freaking amazing. So see, when you're done with this, don't use it again. Get yourself a fresh cloth. Get all that suds, that lubricating suds, and we continue. Something interesting about the Spider that some people may not know, this whole treatment of the humps is sort of a recollection to the 550 Speedster, but it's also to lighten the car, right? In the whole Cayman Boxster range, this is the lightest. I believe if you spec it with the 918 Spider seats, it'll be 1295 kilograms. So it's pretty light for this car. So these are aluminium panels. I think the back, the side doors and the hood, they're aluminium. Of course, without the motor, the center of gravity is lower. And no kidding, when I've driven this car, even though I thought the engine is bigger, it's going to be heavier, it does feel more nimble, more planted than the Boxster 981 GTS or S. And I think this is the generation that the car enthusiast world didn't give so much attention to. And primarily because the GT4 has been taking most of the spotlight. And the GT4 has a more GT treatment, albeit the same engine, but the suspension has the GT3 suspension. So, you know, more camber, you know, more aggressive. Whereas this car had the regular Boxster suspension. So it didn't have the GT treatment, just like its older sister, or the twin sister. So a lot of people may think like, why should I pay money for this car where the GT4 has better, you know, you get better things with the GT4. So this car was sort of like left out. I felt the GT team in Porsche didn't purposely not give this the GT suspension. It is because it is a road-going car, so it doesn't need such an aggressive setup. Yeah. And because it's not so aggressive, you can forgive the long second gear, which plagues all the GT Cayman, GT4 sort of like owners. Yeah. Okay, I'm done with the hand wash. Let's do the final rinse and then let's wipe it dry and start doing the last touch-ups for the exterior. This coating I applied probably more than a year now. Look at that. Even after 3 weeks of not washing, all the road grime and stuff just effortlessly XPEL's good stuff, right? Not only because I'm an ambassador, but I'm very impressed. Look at that. Time to dry the car. One of my favorite products to use is XPEL's detail spray. So I use it as a drying aid because it will help, because there's some sealant in it, so it helps sort of you know, push the water together. But also it's a little bit more lubricant, so when I'm wiping my surfaces, it gives a little bit more protection. I know I have PPF, but you know, you want to minimize the damage you put on the PPF, right? But generally it's a good idea to add lubrication whenever you're going to touch the car, right? Plus, it's easier to dry, as I said, drying aid, and it leaves behind a nice gloss in the end. Okay. The other benefit is that I find it's easy to use. Some sealants, when you put too much, or you spray too much, or you didn't wipe a certain area, then it starts having, you know, color, residue, you know, especially the ceramic stuff. It really leaves behind some rainbow looking thing, you know, it's not the best, right? And also allows you to see if there's any last bits that were not out, and you can just touch up right away. So number 5, I need to actually choose it. My first Enduro was to Phuket 2019 with my M235i, which I love dearly and I regret selling. It was my first time also experiencing a livery on my car. I was a bit hesitant at first when one of the guys from Horizon called and say, hey, would you like to have some livery on your car? I'm like, oh, it's going to mess up my car, but actually looks pretty good. And they gave me number 5. I didn't ask for it, so I thought I'd just continue the legend, I guess, to build on number 5 every single time we go on Enduro. This year's design is particularly my favorite, sort of like cream and black. There's a tiger. I guess that represents part of Thailand. There is some those statues with a sword, so it's really cool. And all the way from Singapore, Malaysia, all the way the whole Thailand, because we literally go to almost both ends on the north. We haven't explored this side of Thailand, but yeah, we did the whole thing. MYTH is not myth, it's actually Malaysia, Thailand, 6,000 kilometers. Most people would do 6,000 kilometers. If my car wasn't broken down with the tires, I would have done 6,000 kilometers. So yeah, those are the significance. And thank you so much, Bobby and the Horizon team, for creating such an amazing event. In fact, I wouldn't have been a YouTuber if I didn't experience Evo Enduro. Yeah. Alright guys, the car is super clean right now. Check it out. This is a simple wash. The PPF is all clean again. I can't see any stone chips that penetrated through into the paint. Alright, there was a little bit of blisters down there because I think those where you get most of the high-speed stones and stuff like that. But you know, it is damaged, but it is still protecting the PPF. Yeah, like this one's over here. But generally, I'm very impressed. And the other thing is the coating quality. So of course, on top of the PPF, there's also XPEL's Fusion Plus ceramic coating. This is the premium one. I would think after being exposed to sunlight and wet and sunlight, grime and everything, I would probably lose some of the coating in certain areas. But as I was inspecting earlier when I was washing, it still sticks. It's still there, right? So that goes to show how the product quality of XPEL is really there. Yep. So super impressed, super happy. Evo Enduro 2024 is so fulfilling. Next year, 2025, what would I do? I'm not even sure yet. Maybe try different countries, I don't know. But if I were to do it again, would I take my Spider again? I think I want to try some new things. Maybe a Grand Tourer of sorts, right? Because this is actually quite taxing. It's a sports car. It is not uncomfortable. It is not comfortable, it's bearable. Somewhere in between, right? You can put up with driving it, but I wouldn't say it's a comfortable car. So thank you to my wife who really put up with me, right, in this whole trip. So yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some tips in washing cars. I hope you enjoyed all my vlogs. If you watch my vlogs and you feel like you're one of those vlogs kind of people, check out my Evo Enduro vlogs and check out some of the amazing roads in Thailand. Till then, thanks for watching guys. Keep it 100 and let me know in the comments what you think, right? Subscribe to the channel, right? Happy New Year and peace out.